Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Sunday, May 9, 2021. CNN report. The headache Trump left behind for Biden on the White House lawn. The project that's currently tearing up the White House's South Lawn initially landed on Donald Trump's desk. The White House was in need of substantial upgrades to its future security apparatus. Updates that would include digging deeply and extensively, from the upper main driveway to the lower, across acres of pristine green grass. Times had changed since the last substantial overhaul of systems, and with the country facing new, known and unknown security threats from various entities, it was paramount the updates happen. The United States Secret Service told the White House, according to two people familiar with the plan who spoke to CNN.
BBC report. Lampedusa. More than 1,000 migrants arrive on Italian island. One boat alone was carrying almost 400 men, women and children, Italian news agency ANSA said. The island's mayor Toto Martello said he believed the rise in arrivals coincided with the good weather. Lampedusa is one of the main arrival ports for people wanting to reach Europe. More boats were spotted off the coast of nearby Malta, with charity alarm phones saying they needed assistance. One rescue operation could put a total of around 231 people out of danger of drowning, it said.
Deutsche Welle report. British royal accused of offering to sell access to Putin. The cousin of Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Michael of Kent, was willing to use his royal status for personal gain and to seek favors from Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to an investigative report by British media. Prince Michael, who has denied the claims, is the latest British royal who has come under public scrutiny. The report also comes at a time of deteriorating relations between the UK and Russia, notably after the 2018 poisoning of a former Russian spy in England.
Fox report. Boston news crew rescues stolen dog after suspect stops for interview. A stolen pooch was reunited with his owner in Boston after the alleged dognapper was spotted by a news crew and gave an interview. Titus, a 13-month-old German short-haired pointer, was snatched from a parked car near Memorial Drive around 12:30 p.m. On Friday, news station WHDH reported. Police obtained surveillance footage that showed a man walking the dog over the Boston University Bridge. When a 7NEWS crew was filming later at the scene, they saw a man walking with Titus.
Fox report. After vaccine rollout success in UK, COVID could be eradicated by winter, says top scientist. An emeritus professor of bacteriology in the United Kingdom is predicting COVID-19 could be eradicated in the country by winter because of the success of the vaccine rollout, according to reports. I don't see any reason of why we should need to go into lockdown again, Hugh Pennington told The Sun. We are now getting close to China and Taiwan in effectively eradicating it within our own territory.
CNN report. Wingate University in North Carolina acknowledges its namesake sold slaves. Wingate University, a private liberal arts college in North Carolina, has set up a committee to determine next steps, after learning its namesake, Washington Manly Wingate, sold slaves a year before the Civil War. The committee of faculty, staff, students, alumni, trustees, town officials and others will discuss next steps, the university said in a statement. It's unclear if those steps might include changing the school's name.
BBC report. Chad claims win over rebels after President Déby's death. The conflict against Libya-based rebels threw the country into a crisis when President Idris Déby died after being wounded on the front line last month. The military takeover under the leadership of Mr. Déby's son has been condemned by the opposition and civil society groups, leading to protests. The rebel group says it is not aware of an end to the fighting. However, a victory parade took place through the streets of the capital, in N'Djamena, on Sunday, aimed at boosting the popularity of the Chadian military at a time of great uncertainty in the country.
CNN report. Medical journal slams Indian government for squandering early success on COVID-19. The Indian government has been blasted for ignoring warnings of a second wave, encouraging complacency, and failing to be transparent on COVID-19 data, in a scathing editorial in prestigious medical journal The Lancet. The publication branded the response by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government inexcusable. India is currently in the midst of the world's worst COVID-19 outbreak. It reported 403,738 additional cases Sunday, marking the fourth consecutive day it has recorded more than 400,000 cases and bringing the country's total reported infections to more than 22 million.
Al Jazeera report. Algeria to ban unauthorized protests. Algeria will ban unauthorized demonstrations. The country's interior ministry has announced. A move that observers say is aimed at bringing to an end a years-long protest movement seeking democratic reforms. The announcement came on Sunday as protests by the Hirak movement gained momentum in recent weeks after a months-long hiatus caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Thousands of demonstrators began taking to the street in February 2019 to protest against former President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's decision to seek a fifth term in office.
Al Jazeera report. Tunisia begins week of strict COVID lockdown. Tunisia on Sunday started a week of coronavirus restrictions covering the Eid holiday, as hospitals battle to stay afloat amid soaring COVID-19 cases. Prime Minister Hicham Mekichi said on Friday that Tunisia was going through the worst health crisis in its history, and that health facilities were at risk of collapse. Until next Sunday, mosques, markets and non-essential shops must close, gatherings and family or cultural celebrations are banned, and people are forbidden from traveling between regions.
Fox report. Daunte Wright death. Brooklyn Center proposes unarmed traffic stops in new police reform plan. The Minnesota City of Brooklyn Center is considering a resolution to reform policing nearly a month after the fatal officer-involved shooting of 20-year-old Daunte Wright that would send unarmed civilians to respond to minor traffic violations and mental health calls. Mayor Mike Elliott, whose office assumed control over the police force after the firing of city manager Kurt Bogany, presented the resolution to City Council on Saturday that would also create multiple new public safety and crime prevention departments and committees. Fox 9 Minneapolis reported.
Deutsche Welle report. Germany, SPD officially names Olaf Scholz as Chancellor candidate. Germany's center-left Social Democrats, SPD, voted on Sunday for the current finance minister Olaf Scholz to be their choice for chancellor should they win the September general election. The former mayor of Hamburg won 96.2% of the votes from the almost 600 SPD delegates who were taking part in this weekend's online party conference. Sunday's result was far from a surprise, as the party leadership had already nominated him for the candidacy, more than a year before the election.
Al Jazeera report. U.S. working to help pipeline company after cyberattack. The United States government says it is helping a major pipeline operator restore service after a cyberattack involving ransomware forced its network offline. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said on Sunday that Washington was working to avoid more severe fuel supply disruptions and to help Colonial Pipeline restart as quickly as possible. The company runs a pipeline network that stretches more than 8,850 kilometers, 5,500 miles, from Texas to New Jersey.
BBC report. Italy Mafia. Murdered Judge Rosario Livatino beatified. The Catholic Church beatified Rosario Livatino at a service in Agrigento, Sicily on Sunday, 28 years to the day after he was declared a martyr. Pope John Paul II made the declaration in 1993, and famously denounced the Mafia. Livatino was working on a mass trial against Mafia members at the time he was killed. In his service to the common good, as an exemplary judge who never succumbed to corruption, he sought to judge not to condemn but to redeem, Pope Francis said later at a service in the Vatican.
CNN report. Hundreds party in Spain as coronavirus curfew ends in most of the country. Hundreds of people were seen partying in several cities across Spain in the early hours of Sunday, as the country ended its 11 p.m. curfew, which was lifted in 13 of the country's 17 regions at midnight. Footage was shared of people taking to the beaches of Barcelona and the streets of Madrid to celebrate the end of Spain's 6-month state of emergency to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people could be seen without a mask, not respecting social distancing, and gathering in groups much larger than 6, all in violation of coronavirus restrictions that remain in place.
Deutsche Welle report. Jerusalem, Israel delays Palestinian eviction hearing after clashes. The Israeli Justice Ministry said on Sunday that it was postponing the hearing in a legal case that could see several Palestinian families evicted from their homes. The announcement comes after several days of clashes in Jerusalem. Scores of Palestinians and several Israeli security forces were injured overnight in violence sparked by a dispute over a land ownership case dating back to before the foundation of the State of Israel.
Fox report. Narco tunnel linked to El Chapo found across from Mexican National Guard base. It was right under their noses. Mexican authorities discovered a 650-foot tunnel built by Joaquin, El Chapo, Guzman in Tijuana, across the street from a National Guard base. Mexico News Daily reported. The tunnel, equipped with ventilation, lighting, and carts and rails, was discovered after a package of marijuana was left outside the house where the tunnel was hidden. Authorities believe it was intended to connect to a Tijuana to San Diego underpass unearthed in 2019, as part of a network built by the now jailed Guzman.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.